Welcome back to another episode of What Should I Get Pierced? My name is Scott Wilkinson. I'm a professional body piercer and have been since 1994. Now on the show, we're going to take a look at 6 different people. We look at their faces, we look at their ears. I'll tell you what would be good possibilities of piercings and ultimately what I think would look best. Now the first person we have to look at today is going to be Jenna. So let's take a look at her face. Now, looking at Jenna, and she also did mention she was interested in a septum piercing, and I would have to agree with her on this one. I think a septum piercing, granted a nice tight small ring would be really, really cute, and as far as other piercings go, a lot of fun options. I could see inner eyebrow piercings. I could also see a Ashley piercing, just straight through the middle of her lip. I could also see a Medusa piercing, a little bit lower if you have that tight ring in the septum. So the Medusa septum combo, super, super cool. As far as other piercings, I could see spider bites or even shark bites, kind of pulling it off to the side just like that. Now, as far as my ultimate picks, I definitely see that septum piercing and 2 inner eyebrows. Now, let's take a look at her ear. All right, now when we look at her ear, you can see that there is a single lobe piercing there at the bottom. And like I always suggest, stretch it up. Let's see what size we can get that to. Now, as far as other piercings, I definitely love the snug area. You can see it's very well pronounced and a nice little curved barbell in there. Really epic. Not everyone can get that piercing. Now, as far as other fun piercings here, totally see a rook piercing. Plenty of room for the rook. I could see a single tragus piercing. I could also see an anti-tragus piercing. I think it's a little too far out to do the orbital from the anti-tragus to the tragus, but a single anti-tragus is really nice. I could also see a conch piercing. Leaving it like that leaves enough room to wear the ring once it's all the way healed, all the way around. Helix piercings. You can see how this whole area here has a nice larger area where we can put some nice big clusters in there, possibly the 5-gem cluster up top here, or something that kind of hangs down, like a large gem and some things kind of hanging down there. Now, as far as my ultimate pick, I love that Helix, and I also like the snug. All right, up next we have Mona. Now, Mona says she has plans for lots of future piercings, possibly a Medusa, possibly a septum. And I could honestly see both of those. Another possibility, if you didn't want to do the Medusa, would be the Jestrum. You can see how that upper pouty lip, it'd look amazing. Amazing. You have the perfect lip for a Jestrum piercing. Now, another possibility would be the high nostrils. As you can see with the high nostrils up there, as long as you're not wearing the glasses, it would look really, really good. Another fun option would be a smiley piercing. We can't really mark it because that's the web, but you can see how there's a little bit of a gap right there in the mouth. That would mean the jewelry could possibly show with a nice big smile. And the smiley piercing is the web between your gums and your lip. Now, another fun option here would be a dermal anchor on the upper cheek. I could totally see one of those. And I would like to suggest eyebrow piercings, but with the bangs, it completely covers it up, so if you can't see it, I don't know though, you get it for yourself. If you want an eyebrow piercing, go for it. Now, as far as my ultimate picks, I would have to say the septum, a Jestrum, and also an Ashley. Let's take a look at her ear. Now, she did mention on her ear with that Helix that it did take a while to heal. Sometimes cartilage does take a long time to heal, sometimes well over a year, so that's not uncommon, especially if things are rubbing up against it. She did mention that her ears are a little red because of the earphones, so if that causes irritation, you might need to back off until your piercing heals all the way up. But the piercing does look really, really nice. As far as adding more to this, I love the anti-helix area, this area right inside here. We could add possibly 2 piercings. One looks like it's almost in the flat, and the other is just a little bit lower. I could also see a tragus piercing. Nice little cute gem right in there. And she also mentioned that she wanted to start stretching the lobes, and it looks like it's centrally located on this lobe, allowing for plenty of room to stretch. As far as my ultimate picks, I'm going to have to go with the 2 anti-helix piercings, and a tragus. Now, before we take a look at Jimmy's face, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out a lot. Now, Jimmy mentioned he's a new subscriber and loves the channel. Thank you very much for subscribing. And as far as new piercings, I can totally see a bridge piercing. I don't know if you guys can too, but look at that. A bridge piercing would be epic on Jimmy. Now, some more options here. Eyebrow piercings. Looks like you have great eyebrow there for that. Possibly even the double. I could also see a lip piercing, possibly one off the side, and wearing the ring in there, which would balance nice with the eyebrow piercings. And also the Medusa piercing. Medusa piercing right there inside in the middle of the mustache, or if you shave all the time, it's an epic, epic piercing. Now, as far as my ultimate picks here, I'm going to have to go with the bridge piercing, an eyebrow, and a lip. Now, let's take a look at Jimmy's ear. Now, looking at his ear, I think those are stretched earrings. They could be the ones that get nice and thin in there, but definitely start stretching them up. That'd be a fun option. You can see the tragus is just screaming to be pierced. I could definitely see a stud to start off with and a ring once it's all healed up. Now you can also see that the helix area is set up all the way down to where multiple sizes and multiple piercings. So that's where I would probably go there, start some sort of helix project. You know, adding piercings a little bit at a time, all the way down until they eventually connect up with the earlobe piercings. It's a big project, but it's really awesome when it's done. As far as other options here, I would say a doth piercing. You see a ring right inside there. Possibly a conch piercing. Now it looks like the distance from there to there is going to be a little large for the ring, but if you did a larger size, you could definitely find a ring that would fit around there. Now, as far as my ultimate picks, helixes. Helixes. Up next, we have Lexi. Now, Lexi does not have any visible piercings that we can see here, other than possibly a little earlobe piercing back there. We'll talk about that in a minute. As far as new piercings go, Medusa. You can see how there's a nice little divot right in there. It would fit perfectly. Also, I could see an Ashley piercing right through the center of the lip going in, or possible vertical labret. Either that Ashley or a vertical labret would look really, really good. I could also see a nostril piercing, possibly a double on one side. You could also see an eyebrow piercing. Let's go on this side over here, just like that. And also see some snake bites. Not too far out past the pouty part of her lip. Now, as far as my ultimate picks here, I would have to go with the Medusa and the vertical labret. Now, looking at Lexi's ear, you can see just a single earlobe piercing, so let's start decorating. Doth piercing. You can see a doth piercing. I can see a tragus piercing. I can see 2 conch piercings. You can see how this area kind of flattens out a little bit right there. Which means one up top, one below, and the double ring going around the conch when it heals. Super, super fun. Now, there's also plenty of room for a rook piercing, as well as a vertical industrial. Bead up there, and then the bar going down into the conch with the beads in the back side of her ear. I could also see kind of a V industrial. You see how you'd have a bead there and a bead there, and if the bar went down, kind of looks like an angry face in a way right now, or a happy face, I should say. But anyways, you see how the bar kind of angles in like that? That would be a really fun custom bent industrial. Now, as far as my ultimate picks go, I have to go with the double conch and a tragus. And up next, we have Sarah. Now, Sarah already has 1 nostril piercing in this picture, but she also mentioned that she also got the septum and the other nostril, so has the trifecta. One of my favorite looks. Now, as far as adding more piercings, I could keep things kind of more centrally located. Her nose is really straight, so a bridge piercing would look really good, as well as a normal labret piercing. And once the labret heals up, wearing the ring in there, so you have it look that way, as well as the rings off to the side. Now, as far as other piercings go, I could see some dahlia piercings. I could see some horizontal eyebrow piercings. Going across like so. And I could also see maybe a dermal anchor on the one side. Possibly a vertical labret as well. Totally see that vertical labret. Now, as far as my ultimate picks, I have to go with the vertical labret as well as the bridge piercing. Let's take a look at her ear. Now, looking at her ear, you can pretty much see mostly naked ear except for that single earlobe piercing right there. Now, as far as the piercing goes, you could start stretching that, but if it's too far in, it might not stretch nice and evenly and you'd have wider or thicker spots. Make sure it's more in the center of your ear if you're actually going to start stretching. But with the situation where they go in a little bit like that, sometimes you can kind of create a lower one like that and an upper one like this, creating like a triangle type effect. And something like this is called stacked lobes, and kind of creating little shapes and new designs with what you already have. So that might be kind of a fun thing, creating that little triangle down there of triple piercings. As far as new piercings go, I could see an industrial. Totally see that industrial going across just like so. I could also see a vertical helix piercing, just like so, with the straight bar. I could also see a conch to conch industrial, which means the bar is going up and down, and on the back side of each ear, you're going to see a ball and a ball, but you can only see it from behind. Now, as far as other piercings go, I would definitely suggest a tragus piercing. See, a single tragus piercing, always classy. And there's always the conch as well. With the conch, you can wear a nice gem cluster right in there, or wear the ring when it's all healed up. My ultimate picks, I'm totally going to have to go with the conch to conch industrial and the tragus. Before we move on to the last person, hit that like for me. Now, the last person we have to look at is Sena. Now, Sena just started the piercing journey. We see a single nostril piercing here. As far as adding more, I can see the other side of the nostril piercing. And sometimes I would even say go with a trifecta, but I can also see the medusa still kind of creating a triangle right in the middle of the face. So I'm not going to say septum here. I'm going to say the medusa with the nostril. Now, as far as other piercings go, I can totally see some dolphin bites and tight little studs right on the lower lip there. I would say a bridge piercing, but the thing is I know that she wears glasses and that would rub right up against it, as well as the possible high nostrils if they fell down. So you got to be careful and wear what works best for you. Now, back to this picture, I could also see eyebrow piercings, just like so. And when you're looking at the glasses, you're still going to see the eyebrow piercing through it. So super, super fun look. Now, as far as my ultimate picks, I'm going to go with the nostril, and the medusa. Let's take a look at her ear. And again, just a single lobe piercing is all I see, but there's a lot of fun options here. Now, first thing I'm looking at is you can see how this upper area is a little bit larger. It's because the ear probably folds down. Now, with something like this, you can add little labrets where there's a stud in the back and the front, and you have almost 4 facing helix piercings. These look really, really cool, and even when they heal up, you can wear little tiny rings, just kind of engulfing, cupping each of the ears there. Super, super rad. Now, as far as other piercings go, I would love to add a doth piercing. You can see how a doth piercing would connect really nicely, as well as the tragus piercing. And it looks like she has the anatomy to do the tragus to anti-tragus orbital if you wanted to go that route. It's a tough heal, but it looks epic. Now, as far as my ultimate picks, I want to do that triple upper helix, and I would also love to see a tragus piercing. Now, that winds everything up for today. What'd you think? Let me know in the comments. Now, if you enjoy my video, make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the like, and of course, keep putting holes in your body. We'll see y'all in the next video.